everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm really excited today because we are going to be finishing up our baby's nursery. We are working on the closet. So we started off with a really standard closet, and I did up a rough sketch of what I thought I kind of wanted the built-ins to look like. I did end up changing my plan a little bit, as you will see, but this is kind of where we started. We had a dresser already, so I just wanted to make use of that. So we kind of used that as the base and worked around it. So the first place we are starting out is over at Home Hardware, and we are going to be heading in and picking up a bunch of supplies. Once we were inside, the first place we headed was to the paint department because obviously that's where we need to start. I needed to pick some colors and I needed to pick some durable paint. The closets in our house are painted purple for some unknown reason. So the first thing that we were starting with was painting it white. So I needed to pick which color. The coolest thing about Home Hardware is that on the back of all of their paint swatches, they tell you what the undertones of the colors are that they have. So it makes it super easy for matching to other things in your home, existing trim, existing pieces like the dresser that I already had. So that made it super easy. Once we had all of our paint mixed and picked up our other supplies, we were able to head to the back to pick up the rest of the MDF sheets that we needed and head home to start on our project. And if you guys are in need of project supplies for your own things, make sure you check out Home Hardware's Paint and Reno sale happening June 24th to July 14th. So this is what the closet looked like before we started anything. It's a simple builder grade closet, and I just don't find them super effective for storage purposes. So the first thing I did was take everything out, and I also removed the rack, as you can see at the very top, and pulled all of these little clips out of the wall. These are kind of tricky, but the trick to them is to pull out the little screw that's in the middle first, and then it comes out much easier. Now, because our closets are textured, and like I said, they are purple for some unknown reason, the very first thing we're gonna do is put a good coat of primer on. So the Home Hardware primer was fantastic. It blocked out a ton and probably saved me an entire coat of paint, which was fantastic. I also forgot to mention before, because we are doing a built-in style by the end, I did go ahead and remove the baseboards. This is super simple. I just took an X-Acto knife, ran it along the top edge, and used a small pry bar to remove them. Once the primer had fully dried, I was ready to get to work on painting. So the color that I ended up picking was Iota. I believe that's how you say it. It's just a very simple off-white color, and it ended up matching the dresser that I had really well, and it ended up matching the existing trim really well. So it just seemed like the simplest option, and I'm very glad because it saved me a lot of work if I had had to repaint all of the trim in the entire room. Once I had everything painted and prepped and ready to go, I headed over to my dad's with a bunch of measurements, and he got to work on building the foundation for the built-ins. So he is going to be pretty much doing 95% of the built-in part of this. Keep in mind, I am about 34 weeks pregnant at this point, so the amount that I can help is a little far and few between, but I did help out where I could. So my dad is a cabinet maker, and honestly, this was just a really fun project to get to do with him, so I'm very glad that he was on board with helping out, and it was just a really great time. So to put everything together, we ended up using a method called splining, and that is what my dad is doing here. He's making little inserts, and then we fill them with wood glue and these little chips, and then we assemble everything. So it goes together with a lot of clamps and wood glue, and it makes a really, really strong hold. If you don't have access to these tools, which I know a lot of people don't, I'm very lucky to have my dad that has an entire shop, as you can see, of tools at his disposal. If you don't, you can definitely use wood glue, and you could pin it together with a brad nailer. You could use screws. You would just want to make sure that you pre-drill all of your holes. We got the cabinet back home. I do have a couple shelves that go in here, but for painting purposes, I left them out. So this is just the raw MDF starting point for the shelf. And I got a good coat of primer on it. And I didn't bother with the sides because those, like I said, it's going to be a built-in style, so you're never going to see those. So we're not going to waste our good paint and primer on the sides. So once I had an entire coat of primer, I gave it a good coat of paint, and it was ready to go. So there was a lot of pieces to paint, but yeah, it took me a couple days, that's for sure. But once everything was painted, I was really excited to get it put together. So I did use a slightly different paint for the built-in part. I used the cabinet and furniture paint in a pearl finish, and I just felt like this was going to be more durable than a regular paint. And honestly, I am so impressed with this Beauty Tone paint. I have no complaints about the cabinet and furniture paint. It looks like it's going to hold up great. It gave such a good finish. I have been sliding the little baskets in and out for a couple days now. There are no marks on it. And yeah, it just worked out really good. So the actual closet is painted with a satin finish, so it is slightly different, but you cannot tell when you're just looking at it. And yeah, it looks like it is holding up great. So now it is time to get these built-ins installed. The first thing that my dad is doing is placing cleats at the very top. I believe we placed this around 84 inches or so up, and it's just going to be a short shelf, and it's going to hold any memorabilia stuff, and it is longer, so anything over about 30 to 32 inches, you want to make sure that you have a brace to support it, because over time your MDF will sag. So my dad is putting in an extra cleat and then putting in this bracket here just to help reinforce that shelf so that we never have any issues with it at all. The cleats alone would not be enough. It might kind of seem like it. I thought at first we might be able to get away with it, but my dad said literally over time, even if you had nothing on the shelf, it will start to sag. So we're using 5/8 thick MDF, so it is a fairly decent board, but you just want to make sure if you're going to go to the trouble of doing this, make sure that yeah, you reinforce where you need to. The first thing he did was attach the dresser to the top piece that we had built, and then attach this side piece so that it can bump out a little bit so that the drawers will open and give a little bit of space for the actual depth of the closet. It turned out so good. I am so thrilled with how this project came together. Yeah, I'm just over the moon, you guys. So I went ahead and filled everything with DAP, and I made sure to caulk all of the seams and everything, and that made a huge difference. The next thing I did was to install these fun little rods. So I simply used some dowels that you would have seen in the cart at the very beginning, and these little closet brackets, and they were so easy to install. I did this on my own. Didn't even need my dad's help. And yeah, I think the little wood tone accent was the way to go. And the final stage of organizing everything was baskets. These baskets from Home Hardware are so good. They look like a wicker basket, but they are more of a plastic kind of material, and I think they're going to hold up great over time. So I'm really excited about these. Also, don't wear all black when you have a lot of cats because yeah, sorry about my shirt. So the dresser, I just use these little organizers to kind of put all of the little baby things in, and I'll show you how it turned out. And here it is. I am so over the moon with how this turned out. We have so much more storage, more than I need at the moment. I know we'll get lots more baby stuff to come, but it worked out great. I was able to add these little baskets at the top for clothes that will be down the road a little bit once baby grows, and everything just fits so perfectly in here. These bins from Home Hardware were seriously fantastic. I've got my breast pump in there and all of the swaddles and everything in here, and then burp cloths, receiving blankets, and the dresser organizers are filled up and all of baby's clothes are washed, and we are just so excited. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you a million times over for Home Hardware for partnering with me on this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one, and baby might even be here by then, which is crazy. So have a great day.